Good morning, guys. Welcome back to Science Time. Now, one of my favourite topics in our school year is our plant topic. I love teaching about plants. Our topic is called Blooming Marvellous. So today's experiment is Blooming Marvellous, and that will all make sense in a minute. Let's go through the equipment that we need today. So you're going to need some sort of tray or maybe a plate, something that you can put some water in. You're going to need a range of different papers. I've got some cards, some cartridge paper, some white paper, some coloured papers. You're going to need some scissors, a ruler, a pencil, and perhaps some felt tips as well. So, if you have all of the equipment, let's get started with the method. Okay, so job 1. We need to measure a square that's 10 centimetres by 10 centimetres. So let's mark out the square. There's our 10 centimetres. By 10 centimetres. We're going to make our square and then we're going to cut it out. Just be careful of our fingers. Get someone to help you. Okay, so we now have our square, which is 10 centimetres by 10 centimetres. Now we're going to do a little bit of fractions practice. I know it's science, but fractions will be helpful. First thing we're going to do is we're going to fold our square in half. Try and line it up. Perfect. And then we're going to fold it in half again. A half of a half is a quarter. There we go. Now that's the end, which is like in the middle of my folds. And I'm now going to do another half, but I'm going to do it on the diagonal this time. So you're going to end up with a triangle. Okay? Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut ourselves a petal. So I'm keeping my end with all the folds together, and then I'm just going to draw a petal. So I'm going to have it coming out from the ends using all of the piece of paper. So it looks a little bit like that, and now I'm going to cut that out. And there's my petal shape all cut out. Now if I open it up, you'll see we've got a flower, hence Blooming Marvellous. Now you can at this stage decorate it up, make it look like a proper flower. Or you might have lots of different colours. So I did a yellow one. If I open that one up, you can see the flower appear, so you might just have them on coloured paper. It's up to you. I'm going to decorate this one up with my felt tips. So now the next job. With your flowers either decorated or just on the coloured paper, you need to fold the petals into the middle of the circle. So you're going to fold them down. I know it seems strange, but wait and see what's going to happen in a minute. So fold all the petals into the centre of the flower. And if you do this with all of the flowers, they should look like that. So I have my little flower parcels all ready to go. Now, do you have any idea how this is going to become a flower? Any idea why I called it Blooming Marvellous at the beginning? Well, let's have a look. The reason I've chose the blue plate is that I thought it looked more like a pond. Now, if you have a paddling pool, you could always do this in a paddling pool. What do you think is going to happen? Why did I make the flower disappear? Why did I fold it in? Have a quick predict of what we're going to see. And now I'm going to show you. Observe carefully. Isn't that amazing? It looks like a water lily on a pond. Now that was just using ordinary paper, but we're going to try something different here. I've got some coloured paper. I've got the flower that I coloured in, so I decorated it. I've got a card one, and I've got a cartridge paper one. So what do you think we're going to see? Think about what just happened with the paper flower. What do you think is going to happen with these ones? Think about the material that we're using. Think about the thickness of a paper. Will that make any difference? Will it make any difference that I coloured or decorated it? Make a predict. So we've got coloured paper, one that I decorated, cartridge paper, which is like the art paper, or we've got card. What do you think we're going to observe with these ones? Okay, let's try the coloured paper one. And what do you think is going to happen with the card or the cartridge paper? Well, you could actually do a comparison. You could put them in at the same time and observe them and see what happens. So let's try them together. Cartridge paper one's fully open now, but the card one still hasn't opened completely. Let's compare another one. So I've got the flower that I decorated and coloured in, and I've just got the white flower, so just the plain white paper. Which one do you think is going to be quickest? Will it make any difference? Let's put them into the water at the same time and observe carefully. Which one opens first? Oh dear, it didn't go well for the one that we decorated. Now you could always repeat this. Try this a number of times. Does that always happen when you colour them in and decorate them? And what might be the reason for it? This one's opened really well. So let's think about why. Why does it happen? Let's pop a flower on as we think about it. So, the reason that this happens is that the paper starts to absorb the water. And the water starts to spread through the folded paper by capillary action. We've talked about capillary action before. This absorbed water starts to make the fibres in the paper swell. And as they swell, the result is that the folded petals start to bloom. And so the flower appears to bloom like a real flower would. There we go. You can see it happening now. Now there are so many things you can investigate. You can have lots of fun with this. You can investigate different types of papers. You can investigate different sizes. Does a smaller flower open quicker? Does a larger flower open slower? Compare them. Try and do them at the same time. You could also test whether the flower would open in other liquids, or is it only water? Perhaps you could try and fold the petals in different ways. Can you zigzag them and will they still open like the flower? Could you perhaps make a flower with a bud in the middle so that the bud appears, and maybe you could have 2 layers, you could have a double flower and try and see if they'll open. There are so many things you could investigate. I hope you enjoy investigating our blooming marvellous science. As always guys, please post onto the Purple Mash blog. Let me see what you've been up to. Let me see your flowers. And if possible, we can see them blooming together. Take care guys. See you soon. Bye.